Hi there folks, here's the Stuart steam launch Emma, which was built by A.W. Clark in Canterbury in 1921. This boat was for sale on eBay, but nobody bought it. So after the sale had ended, I negotiated with the seller and I bought it. So here she is. She's a lovely boat, but there's quite a bit of work that I've got to still do on it, and I just go around it. See, all this comes off. See, that comes off. It's a Carvel hull. I'm not sure if it was a Stuart kit or not. Andy at Stuart's Turner's on holiday this week. I think he's back next week, and what I'll do is I'll send him some photographs and see if he recognises the boat. But as we look inside, it gets more interesting. If I just put the camera down a minute, I'll just take this off. There we go. So you can see there's the engine, which is the Stuart BB engine, which is a ball bearing bottom crank, and it's about 3/4 bore, I would think. To be honest, I don't know a lot about this engine, but the top part of the engine is very much the same as a Stuart Turner 10V. So when I got the engine, it was seized. So what I've done is I stripped the top down, freed it, oiled it, and checked the bottom crank, which is fine. And if we can just see now that she will turn over nicely now. So she turns over really well. There's a bit of play in the prop, but not much. I could just put an extra washer on there for that. But the boiler's amazing. I mean, look at the size of this boiler. It's massive, that is. It must be about 12 inches nearly. And it's a large boiler. Double cylinders there. Nicely connected together on the boiler here, this manifold, and then we go to the steam pipe into there. Now that's the valve that was on it, but that is seized solid, and I think from the thread looking at it, it looks like probably 3/16 3/30 setting thread on there. So what I'll do is I'll get a new globe valve for that steam stop valve from Stuart's next week. And then what we can do is we can take the top off and put that as a lever and have that to a servo, so we've got some control over the speed. And here is the burner, which is massive. That's the burner for it. You can see it really is big. It's a double burner, and I'm not too keen on spirit burners myself, because I'm always a bit wary of them in case they catch fire. So what I thought I might do is that here's a small ceramic burner, and what I thought was if I get a larger one like that and have two, put it on a T-piece and then to a gas tank, then we can convert it to gas, but it won't affect the actual boat. Because if I take that away a minute, this size burner fits nicely in there. So that can be quite done easily with no problem at all. The boiler itself looks as though it's in good condition. I've taken the pressure relief valve out, cleaned all that out, and freed that up, so that's okay now. It's got the Stuart Turner pressure gauge, which is up to 150, which is 10 bar. But because this engine's been in it since the start, and it's run on this, I don't think it was run at flash steam. So that when I looked at the engine, there was hardly any wear at all on the bottom crank. So I'm pleased with that. So that really does turn over nice and free now. And what I've done is I have put some oil in the reservoir, which you can see, and that just helps to lubricate the bearings. So I think she will go once we start her up. So that's the steamboat Emma. So I will give it a try on Spirit. I'll test it to make sure it's not leaking or anything like that. And have a look in. I've had a look at it and the wick's still okay. So I'll have to look at that. But I think I would prefer to convert it to gas, really. But she's a lovely boat and she's going to look superb on the river. What I thought of doing is I was thinking about putting a servo for the boat, for the rudder. So I'm going to have to work on that. But I don't want to spoil the actual overall look of the boat. So it's going to take some serious thought before I start and do that. Which is really nice. I've just gave her a little clean, but that's about all, because I'm trying to keep the patina and the age of the boat. So I'm not going to go mad with the polish or anything. Just a gentle clean and that'll be fine. You can see that on the engine it is curved here, so I'm thinking that perhaps that's an early model, because I have seen some BB engines with a flat back, but this is curved, so it might be an earlier one. And I'm sure the engine was put in boiler when it was actually made, so whether it was a Stuart kit or not, I don't know. But Mr. Clark, when he built it in 1921, made a lovely job. If he built the hull, then he made a really good job of that. Of course, that's really nice. For seeing the size, it's not too heavy actually. I was quite impressed with that. but I can imagine she looks really great on the water. I did find a video on YouTube for this boat, and that was put on YouTube in 2008. I think it was 2008, and it was for sale at Bonham's in Henley, and it was sold at Bonham's in 2008, but I don't know who that buyer was, and I don't think it was the buyer who sold it on eBay, who tried to sell it on eBay. The guy actually bought it off after the sale ended. But it's certainly got a lot of history to this boat, which makes it really interesting and nice. So we've got the new over there, and we've got the old here. I mean, another 5 years, this boat will be 100 years old. So that is quite something. So I've just got to get it working. I'm not sure if there should have been a strut here on the bottom or not. Perhaps there wasn't. I'll have to turn her over and have a look. But anyway, I hope you like that, and I'll see you next time.